So Hard Eyes, my man.
Hard Eye.
Let me give you the floor here. What'd you think, bro?
Let's see. How do I start this off without giving away my honest thoughts right off the bat? I loved it. Uh, I
Honest
thought it
thoughts.
was really good.
Oh.
Anyone who knows me, and you know me pretty well, knows that this kind of movie is right up my alley. It's uh it's directed by sorry, it was written by Chris Landon, who was gonna direct Scream 7 before Kevin Williamson came on board. So Chris Landon, he's about to direct that Airdrop movie. That's the next horror film that's coming out, I think. I don't know if you
Oh
saw
yeah.
that. I forgot what it's called. I think it's just called Drop.
No, I
But
haven't. I'll have to look it up. Wait, before you keep going, let me just ask you this. I think it goes without saying, right? You got a lot of Scream vibes from this movie, right?
oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, so did I. Okay.
Yeah, it was totally it's my kind of movie, you know. It's sort of it knows that it was really heavy in the sentimentality department. So as a result of that, it feels like it knew it had to have really good kills and be pretty gory, or at least R-rated, you know, kills kind of gory.
Hmm.
And but also this movie is simultaneously a great rom-com and also simultaneously at the exact same time a great slasher movie. And the two leads are so good, Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt. You kind of forget at times that you're watching a slasher movie and you kind of don't mind. And then you're sucked back into it when Hard Eyes shows up, because Hard Eyes doesn't even show up for long periods of time, but you don't mind because you're so immersed in these characters. And this movie pulled kind of a nice magic trick with really making you care about the characters. And there was a lot of times when I was like, oh shit, don't kill Mason Gooding. Like Mason Gooding is awesome. Like I'm so excited he's in Scream 7. I want to see more from him. So yeah, I loved this movie, and it totally makes sense to me that this was written by Chris Landon, who was about to direct Scream 7 before Kevin Williamson came on board.
Did you ever get the vibe that he might be the killer at any point in time?
Uh, I could tell they were trying to like lean it towards that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I never felt like that was exactly where they were gonna go. But I mean, he's Mason Gooding. He's Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son. You know, he's got the chops. If he was the killer, man, can you imagine if he was the killer in Scream 7 somehow?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that'd be crazy.
I,
Yeah.
I think he could deliver a great killer monologue. Um, but yeah, I loved everything about this movie, and I loved every kill. And yeah, like this movie didn't have to make you care about the characters as much as it did. It's pretty rare for slasher movies, especially these days. The new Screams did it pretty well, but
Hmm.
I think this movie was firing on all cylinders, and I loved every bit of it. I think you on my letterboxd, I gave it 5 stars. So if that means anything, so
Yeah, no, it was fun. I liked the kills too, and I think if I have to put my favorite kill, it's probably the one in the beginning in the winery. That drive-in sequence, I love big set pieces like that because there's so many potential victims there, and it's so cool to see the killer just go batshit crazy and just start fucking random people up, man. That's fucking cool. Like I had a really good time with that whole sequence.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that driving sequence, because before all the shit hits the fan and everything goes crazy, it gives you a whole scene of them in the car. All those two people are in the back, and they
Yeah,
didn't have
yeah,
to develop Mason Gooding's character anymore in that scene, but the movie decided to not go to a standstill, but it lets you have that moment to breathe, and it used that moment to get to know his character, and that just sort of was sort of like icing on the cake, you know. And then at the same time, it was hilarious because they're screwing in the back of the car and they're trying to hide and they want them to be quiet, and the killer shows up. So there's so much going on in that scene all at once. And yeah, I love that scene and everything that came after it.
yeah. Great sequence, man. Yeah, man. This is one of those movies where you turn your brain off. It's a fun slasher. It's fun. The
Yeah,
killers have a good motive. It's believable. They're just a fucked up couple. I mean, it's just a fun slasher movie, and I feel like we haven't had one in a while since Thanksgiving, maybe.
yeah.
Um,
I had as much fun watching this movie as I did watching Thanksgiving. And you just look at the cast. You got Devon Sawa from Final Destination. You got Jordana Brewster. I think, you know, casting says a lot about the kind of movie you're trying to make, especially with a movie like this, where it's definitely an homage to not just 90s slasher movies, but 90s movies in general, as far
yeah,
as the ones with the meta sensibility, usually kind of in the wheelhouse of Kevin Williamson. And
yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that Chris Landon writes, and Joshua John Miller, who directed a movie called The Exorcism, and
yeah.
which have you seen that? Well, I don't want to go off tangent, but yeah, his dad played Father Karras in The Exorcist, so it makes perfect meta sense that he wrote and directed The Exorcism. He wrote Final Girls. Um, I think if you get Chris Landon, Joshua John Miller, and John Hancock, who wrote Companion and is about to write the Faculty remake, that's the sort of meta team of filmmakers who are aware of, who are really great at the self-aware meta genre, and that's the
Hmm.
kind of group that you need to assemble to make the new Stab movies if they're going to go that route. I think if they're going to continue Scream, like those are the three guys you need to really do that if they're doing a Stab thing. But yeah, so it had Scream vibes and it knew it, but it was also
Yeah.
its own
Yeah.
original thing. It's actually really funny too. Like I laughed a lot, so it was a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun movie and some good fake outs too with
Mm-hmm.
the photographer at the beginning. The classic trope of he's looking at you through the lens and shit, and then oh, he's not the killer. Just little stuff like that. I like how they paid homage to that, man. It just really made it fun for me. And bringing Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster in, the heavy hitters from the Faculty and Final Destination, great horror icons. Even though Jordana really hasn't done horror, it's kind of nice to see her come back. And from what it seems, at least, she had a lot of fun doing this movie. You could just tell, like when she's doing that whole killer monologue, it's like, man, she's getting into it, dude. This is cool. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, fun shit, fun shit.
yeah, but I'm glad you liked it because a bunch of my other friends they gave it like 2 stars. They were shitting on it, and I've been defending it. And I'm like, come on, guys, I don't even have to defend this movie anymore. If you know me, you know this is my kind of movie and right up my alley.
Yeah,
It's sort of non-abrasive horror, which is extremely unique these days, or extremely rare
yeah,
these days in terms of like the dialogue isn't even very vulgar or anything. It's just straight up fun, scary, fun horror. It's campy. It's a lot of
yeah.
fun. So
You got it.
this is the kind of movie closest to the sort of movies that I would want to make, which is why I really dug this movie a lot.
Fun slasher movie. I would recommend it. Go take a date, go see it in theaters while it's still around. I think it's a good theater movie and streaming movie. So yeah, definitely check it out
Yeah, and I think it
for
actually
sure.
is actually a good date movie too. Like normally
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of bullshit in this case for a movie like this, but I think it's actually a genuine good date movie. And I haven't seen Valentine with David Duchovny. You've probably seen that.
Oh,
Uh,
it's been years, man. But yeah, I've seen it. It's been years though.
yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't know if this is better than that. From what I've heard, this is better
Mhm.
as far as a Valentine's Day slasher movie. I've never been big on My Bloody Valentine, but yeah. So I'll let this one take the cake for favorite Valentine's Day set slasher movie in my book.
That's pretty much all I got, bro.
Me too.
All right, let's move on then, bro.
Cool beans.